Good morning guys, welcome to Flory Models Daily Show. Here we are on the, I don't even know what day it is, 15th of November 2016 after Telford. As you can see, we are a little bit of a mess. So first thing we need to do is have a damn good tidy up of absolutely everywhere. And we're back. So anyway, the studio, you see, back together. Upstairs, that took a lot more work, getting all the stock sorted out and everything else. So that's all back together and everything else like that. And I'd like to sort of reiterate, thank you to everybody we spoke to at Telford. For you guys who couldn't make it, hopefully we've got some great footage. I said hopefully. I still haven't fully looked at it. We're going to have a look at it a little bit at the end of each show. Okay, that's the idea. I know Sid was out with the camera. He used this big one and the smaller one we have as well. And he did some great footage. So a little bit later on in the show, we're going to show you some of the little highlights from that. So I had every intention of doing the next part up for the actual Meteor with you, but unfortunately we haven't got as far as I thought we did. I thought I had a little bit more to show you, so what I need to do is spend a little bit of time with this one, because speaking to you guys at the show who are all telling me about your one, it does seem there is a few little problems I'm just about to run into. So I wanted to look at it and do it properly. The first thing is this, obviously the spread issue we've got, because when we get it down here, this rear part needs to be pushed apart a little bit. Thank you for everybody who gave me some suggestions through the plastic card, cocktail sticks, things like that, but you do need to put a little bit of a spreader in here to get it to fit down in there nicely. And then for the rest of you, still saying, have you tried the nose yet? And I'm thinking, no, not yet. Okay, actually mine fits. Mine's not too bad. Yes, it's not perfect, but you are right. You need to get this front end in perfectly flush, otherwise the nose doesn't go on. And amazingly, and it's via more sort of luck than judgment, mine is in there, so we're okay, because say you have got these little tabs here on the side which prevent it being a perfect fit. So we're okay with that. But I said I need to show a little bit of time. I want to show about doing this spread so you can see exactly how I challenged the problem. The other thing as well, we're talking about sink marks, or are they stress marks? I'm going with the sink marks. Mine are, I would call mediocre. After speaking to some of you guys, you were saying you didn't have them, and a lot of you said that you can't really see them, and then some of you said mine are like trenches. So yes, we have got these little sink marks down in here, so I'm going to treat mine, even though I think you could probably get away with not going in there too much. You could probably just push in there with the paintwork and get away with it. I'm going to show you how I deal with mine anyway. Which will be a nice little thing. So tomorrow I'm going to be spending all day at the bench, and we're going to take care of it, and we're going to do those. Thank you for all the feedback on the Gundam as well. Loads and loads of feedback on that one, if I imagine. And obviously we had a lot of comments about everything that happened. Thank you so much. Yes, we all seem to be in total agreement with that one. But I will be starting back on the Gundam as well. Probably going to do that tomorrow afternoon, and we'll push through with that. We're going to start on the legs, and we'll be showing obviously about more of the paintwork and how we do it and how we plan to weather it and push on. So now I've sort of got everything out of the way and done, I can really start pushing on back on there, getting the filming sorted out and everything else like that. So we're all doing very, very well. John has also kindly donated me the landing gear set. This is the upgrade one with the pitot tube for the AMK MiG-31. So I've got that one as well. So a lot of you are asking about, am I going to do it? Which one am I going to do? Yes, we're going to do the AMK one. And yes, we are going to be using this upgrade set because John's given it to me now. So that's all very nice. So that was sort of waiting in the wings. When we get round to it, I don't know exactly yet. It'll be one of these things. We'll push through with these, get these out of the way. But as you know, next month's a little bit of Star Wars stuff. But we're probably going to be doing that one along at the same time as we make our way through with that build as well. So still lots and lots to do, got a lot to run through before we get up to Christmas, and boy, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. Anyway, normally Tuesday we have a few Q&As and things like that, but obviously because Steve's still feeling it a little bit, I'm definitely feeling it, the voice is going still, and everything else like that, I thought that we'd have a break today, and then we'll get back to it properly, obviously on Saturday morning live. We'll be all refreshed and sat here with coffees, and we're going to be painting the Bandai, we've got Boba Fett, so we're working on Slave 1 and Boba Fett himself, so I don't know which way we're going to do it yet. I'll speak to Steve during the week about, we're going to start with painting Slave 1, or we're going to do Boba Fett, or we're going to do a bit each, you know, one each perhaps, and do it all like that. But we have got some questions that I get direct to me in the Ask Phil section in the forum. So first up, Rick says, hello Phil, what camcorder setup would be good for videoing your model build? I'm looking at the Canon HR700 with mic input. The mic that I'm looking around on Amazon is the Techstar. Would this be a good setup? Thanks, Rick. These are our questions. I haven't got around to them in a long time. Like I said, a lot of people, we spoke about this because we're hopefully going to get a lot more of the YouTuber guys basically sending us footage, or footage we can use on the site and everything else like that coming in the future. Okay, what I always say is light is more important than a camera. Now I know a lot of people will say, oh yes, and everything else. Trust me, I use really simple equipment for doing my photography work. The cameras I have here are really overpowered. Okay, as I say, we've got 4K cameras above, one's a 4K above me, and then we've got the other ones which are all, and this big one here which has got a monster sensor in it and all the rest of it, which give this very nice field of depth. These you don't really need unless you're talking to a camera like I am. If you're more important about seeing what's in front of you, anything will really do, as long as it's basically 1080 and it can shoot ideally at around about 50 or 60 frames. Okay, that is really the key to it. Anything over that is a waste of time for what we're doing right here. The other option you definitely want to do though is a microphone, because cameras own microphones, trust me, go back and listen to any of our old stuff, sound horrible. It sounds like you're in a big room and it's tinny and everything else like that. So a microphone I think is just as important as the camera itself, because people want to hear you and they don't want to sound like you're in a cave somewhere or in a toilet or anything else like that. And as I said, you're talking about obviously the Tactile one, I don't know it. To be honest, again, it's complete overkill for anybody else, but because we're talking of the ranges we are here and here, we've got 2 Rode microphones, okay? And they are very good, but they're extremely expensive. You know, you're looking at 200 quid a microphone. Normal sort of shotgun microphone is the best, because that way you just point it at your face and that's all it'll hear. It'll get rid of all the echoes and ambient noise and everything else around you. Okay, and it's one of the biggest things I've learned, because all too often I see YouTubers and other things, not just building models but other things I'm into as well, and they've got great camera setup and all the rest of it, but boy, the audio sounds absolutely horrible because they don't have a microphone and they're using onboard stuff. Lapel mics work well, but the trouble is, as a modeler, you're hunched over. It's not really designed for that. It's designed for sitting up and projecting your voice, and it's picking it up. When you're hunched over, you get the rustling of clothes and all the rest of it, especially if you're sanding and that. So I think a shotgun one mounted to your camera, just pointing at you, is the easiest, simplest way of doing it. Okay, there's lots of them out there. As you say, you can go through the expensive ones like Rode, but there is other ones out there as well. But if you can hook the two together, it makes editing far easier than having a standalone one, say, that you then you have to sort of integrate into your feed and editing, and it gets complicated. Keep it as simple as you can, okay, and don't over talk, which is something I do all the time, as you know, but literally you just want to talk when it is required. Don't feel you have to continuously talk to the camera, because people just like to watch what you're doing. So there we go, Rick, hope that helps. Okay, Peter says, hi Phil, great news on the A10 Mega build, looking forward to it. Can you recommend a good lighting kit for the Fine Molds Revel 1/72 kit? Not on the 72nd one. There are kits available if you look on eBay and all the rest of it, but Scale Magic Lighting, they will do you a set for it and all the rest of it. Or you could probably do things with fibre optic or just normal LEDs. It's that simple. It's very small voltage. It's only 5 volt doing LED system. You can run it off a 9 volt battery, square one. On the 72nd one, you can plug it up inside it. You should be absolutely fine with that. But because of its scale, you don't need something pro-built and all the rest of it. But you can do LED lighting strips, very much. Have a look at when we did, to be honest, the best one to look at would be our Star Destroyer. The Star Destroyer had all that LED work done into that. We use lighting strips, we use pulsing, flickering LEDs and everything else like that. That would be the way I would do, obviously exactly the same way as what I would do with the actual Millennium Falcon in 72nd. There's a story to that as well, which I think we'll cover on the Saturday show with my chat with Revel. How to put people squirm. Everyone doesn't like me. I don't know why. Honestly, guys, I am very approachable. But if you're in the industry, you can see people visibly squirm when I speak to them, because I ask them those questions they don't like asking. Like, why is the AT-AT 60 quid and it's crap? Well, the plastic's crap. Okay, George says, hi Phil, quick question, can you help and advice on airbrushing Tamiya XF2? Every time I spray it, it comes out the airbrush with a sand texture. I'm using Tamiya thinners, thinning 50/50, and I cannot figure out what I'm doing wrong. Every other Tamiya paint spray is fine, and that includes the red and yellow ones, both of which I'm not a fan of. Thank you for your advice in advance. Right, okay. If you have a look at, just trying to think of some of the videos, the Academy F4, I spray a lot of white on that, and I'll show you how to do it in one pass. And even the old F4 one, if that's still around. In fact, I'm not sure if it is. I think we've discontinued that one. Basically, the thing with it is, if you're getting rough texture, it's drying. It means the white paint is notoriously translucent. So what happens is that, as in it doesn't cover very well, you tend to thicken it up. And if it gets too thick, it gets very, very rough, because the thing is it's drying before it actually gets to the surface, and then you get that type of stipply effect. What I tend to do, and you might be doing it, this is why I spray it neat the first one, which is rough as hell really, but then the second one is like a 50-50 mix. The last coat is basically 90% thinners, and then that way it sort of all melts itself into it and all the rest of it. Now acrylic doesn't melt as well into itself as something like the lacquers do. MRP paints, for instance, they go together absolutely no problem at all, because what happens is if you put just lacquer over the top, it will melt that top surface, and it will all melt together and everything else. Whilst we talk about it, I had two people ask me at the show, we had a question come up on the actual live show, and I didn't answer it exactly well. We were talking about the difference in labeling. Is it a difference? No, it's literally just a difference in the label. So if you've got this sort of, you know, rainbow label versus the newer one, they are exactly the same. So don't think it's a different type of paint and it's like one's a lacquer, one's a not. It's literally labeling on the back, and this little thing is slightly different. This one has the big harmful thing on it. Actually, this one doesn't, which odd, but that's what it is. It's just the health and safety warning labels were slightly different on them. I think maybe one, maybe US, I don't know. I should have asked him, because actually I did have the pleasure of speaking to him, Mr. MRP, actually at Telford over the weekend. But yeah, so they are exactly the same paints. Don't worry about the labeling being different. The contents will all be exactly the same. Right, okay, one more question. Peter says, hi Phil, during the last part of the FW190 build you had super glue with a brush. Not seen it before, can you tell me what it is? Yeah, that's just that little one we were saying before. It's not the best thing in the world, because I keep in mind the screw thread's going and it's like gel now and gone off. But we spoke about this before. We spoke about it last Saturday. The Tamiya applicators, the small glues, the tiny little ones, I think they're a lot better, a lot less messy. Unless you're doing big resin things, then you want the big gloopy stuff and everything else like that. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Use the glue which works for you. That's a question about payments. We'll do that separately. This is from Arturo. Sorry if I mutilated your name. Hi there, Phil. Just curious. I want to get a mirror chrome finish with a chrome paint. I've heard it depends on how glossy black the base is. Right. So I believe the gloss black is a must in this process. So my question is, what in your opinion is the glossiest black paint on the market? Enamel, I believe. Thank you and have a good day. Right, the thing is, it's a bit like mirrors. On the backing of them, they're black. It's just reflecting the light, okay? So it's black behind it. It's a black base. It makes it very solid, which makes everything else shine through. It's a bit like using black and having white on top. The white will be thicker, heavier, solid white, okay? So it's exactly the same if you're doing with chrome. Chrome is notoriously difficult. You know, it's one of those things you need to build it up, and everything has to be perfect at every single layer. And that does start with the plastic surface you're going on, your primer, and then your gloss black. Now, certain companies do their own gloss black. AK Interactive do their own gloss black base, which I don't know if is up there. Probably not, because I don't use it. But anyway, Alclad do theirs as well. Everybody does it. One of the best ones that I tend to like is actually Tamiya. If you're doing it through acrylic, you can put aluminiums and lacquers and everything else right over the top of it, no problem at all. Okay, and that is basically X1. It dries really quick and it dries very, very hard and flat. I haven't tried MRPs to be honest, but they do one as well. But anybody's base that's completely black. But at the end of the day, you want to look at it and make it look, that black is like a mirror. Because when you put the layers on, you know, as you make your way through, each one of those has got to be like a mirror. That way you'll get the chrome finish. Chrome is notoriously difficult with any type of, you know, modeling effects and everything else like that. That's why I prefer to use something like, down my stretch build area, if it's in here. This isn't, because I don't do it myself, but if you use bare metal foil, you can get this as chrome as well. This is beautiful stuff, and you can coat your parts and everything else. Okay, a bit tricky if you're doing an entire aircraft, and a bit expensive if you're doing an entire aircraft, but actually this stuff is really, really good. Probably the best way of doing it if you want a chrome finish, because chrome is the sort of holy grail of modelling, because it is that difficult. Because if you're not right at every stage, you're going to lose it, and then at the end of it, if you're going to cover it, which I don't recommend, you've got to do something that's going to go down like a mirror as well, so you don't lose that gorgeous chromy finish. Because I've got close to it with Alclad once on an F104 Starfighter and then ruined it by putting a gloss coat over the top, and it went down to being dull aluminium. Okay, so you just want to be careful on that one. So there we go, a couple of questions out of the way. I'll do a few and try and catch up, because I must admit my little thing there is rather large with all questions for you, and if not, I'll answer some more on Saturday for you. So there we go, that's about it for today. I'm going to leave you with the first of our little highlights from this year's Scale Model World. So until tomorrow everybody, happy modelling, take care.
faces prolong the embraces. We were always one for the breakaway, but we're nearing chances to wake the day. They're calling you over, the methods are bolder. We're lost in the time now, reminding ourselves how we were always once for the breakaway, but we're nearing chances to wake the day. Step on the land, I've got your hand, and now we're way down, fade out low. Was it your plan? Can't understand. I love the air you bring, everything. Under the sun, a fire is burning. You tell me to hold on tight. I wish that we could stay here forever. I wanna remember. Oh, the sight of you brings the fight in me, makes me wanna move. Fingers down your spine, looking in my eyes, feel your hands on mine. Tonight we're freer than ever. I wanna remember. Oh, we run every endeavor. I wanna remember. Step on the land.